Hello all and welcome this day. You are tuned into Trendz here on the SABC News Channel 404 for some showbiz and entertainment news out of South Africa and all the way to Tinseltown. I'm your host. My name is Refil Wemwilwa, and please do follow us on Twitter at Trendz on SABC and let us know what's hip and happening in your part of the world, in the world of showbiz and bright lights fame, but also many, many sleepless nights as passion fuels creativity and striking a balance, never ever an easy task. The trick though, develop a thick skin and don't give up come what may. Last week, of course, we had an amazing tribute and show in ode to a legend who passed away. And today, well, Saturday, was the funeral of the late Ndate Ray Phiri, and family, friends and fans gathered at Boheme Stadium in Nelspruit, Mpumalanga for his final send-off. Very, very befitting for the musical legend he was. The 70-year-old succumbed to cancer, and we are now joined by, or crossing rather, to Dumelo Machuho, who was at the funeral service. Dumelo, welcome to Trendz.
Hi, Refilo. The funeral is still underway here in Boheme Stadium. The mother of the late Ray Phiri just walked in and she was very, very devastated. She walked in and she started singing Wamthanda uJesu, which is loosely translated as "Oh, he loved Jesus." She was singing that song to Ray Phiri. And right now the speakers have been speaking about Ray Phiri and how Ray Phiri touched so many lives in Nelspruit, but across, not only in Nelspruit, but across the country and also across the continent.
Yes, Dumelo, and just, I mean, taking a look at, the musical legends who are in attendance, politicians as well, who gave, the most moving speeches, who really, captured the essence of what Ray Phiri was all about really well.
Well, there are a lot of speakers that have come here. We've got the Speaker of Parliament, Mrs. Baleka Mbete. She's here. The Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, is also here. The Premier, the acting Premier rather of Mpumalanga, Ms. Refilwe Mutsweni, is also here in attendance. There are a lot of speakers that have been speaking about Ray Phiri and how the life and times of Ray Phiri. Also, we've got Sipho Hot Sticks Mabuse, who came in and paid a very nice tribute to Ray Phiri. She sang so beautifully about what Ray Phiri was all about. He talked about Ray Phiri and how Ray Phiri was a friend to him, and also the legends, the legends of South Africa, Mrs. Dorothy Maseko, Babsim Lamjeni, and also Don Matera. Don Matera also spoke so fondly of Ray Phiri. Don recited a poem about Ray Phiri and called Ray Phiri a musical genius. That's what he called Ray Phiri today here at Boheme Stadium. We also expecting more speakers to speak, especially from government, because the government official, they will speak about Ray Phiri. But also what was touching more was when Ray Phiri's son and daughter went onto the stage and spoke about their father. They spoke about how their father used to love to cook and used to love to cook for them, and also how he loved himself, how he loved to iron his clothes. They say that he would take 20 minutes to iron one shirt, and on Sunday he would buy all the newspapers and also make sure that he reads all the Sunday newspapers, and he would not even share the newspaper with them. He would tell them that they're not going to read his newspaper before him because then it's old news. Refile?
Oh, wow, that's absolutely amazing. And I actually wanted to touch on his kids. The one thing that has stood out over the week when tributes have poured in and when they speak is just about how regular and loving a dad he was. And that's absolutely great what you say, that, he wouldn't, he'd cook for them, he would share with them, but not until he finished reading his paper. That's fantastic. And his mother, how is she looking? And, his wife as well, she's taking it very badly, we understand, as we've read in reports, but are they united as a family? Is she being supported? Yeah, what's your take?
Well, Ray Phiri has 10 children and 3 grandchildren, and all of these children, they loved his father. They talk so fondly about the father that he loves to cook. He loved to cook for them. And when he was in hospital, his son, Akona, said when he was in hospital, he actually shed a tear and said, you know what, I miss being home. I miss cooking for my children. I miss cooking for my children. One of the daughter said that Ray Phiri really loved to cook and also really loved seafood. So he said that the last time they actually shared seafood together. So that was their fondest memory that they remembered their fathers for. Yeah. And also the mother is 113, so you can imagine she's very old. Yeah. But the family is very united, and the wife, you could see that the wife is really touched by what they've seen. But also the sister, one of the sisters spoke about Ray Phiri and said Ray was a very good man to his family, to his wife also, and to his children. They say that now there are only 3 of them that are left, and now they're going to miss their brother so much.
Definitely. Oh my gosh. It sounds like, everybody is just, telling their stories and relating their memories of the legend that Ray Phiri was. And I mean, of all his kids and grandkids, I'm sure 1, 2, maybe even, more than that will definitely live on his musical legacy and take on, the baton from him and become musicians who will also make us proud and carry on the Phiri name into our musical history as it should be. Yeah, Ray Phiri, may you rest in eternal musical peace. Thank you so very much to Dumelo Machuho, our correspondent, coming to us from Nelspruit, where Ray Phiri's funeral took place. Welcome back. You are still watching Trends. So listen to this. Pump tracks, pump the tunes, hashtag Pump for Peace. It is winter's hottest benefit concert, and Saturday the 12th of August is the date that you need to mark in your calendars right now. 12th of August. So that's the day when wild rides and wild music come together in an outdoor event like never before in South Africa. In studio, I'm about to hear all about it. I have a lead frontman of the band Tidal Waves, Jacob Alana, and also festival producer, event producer, Marika Zietsman. Welcome to Trends.
Hello.
Thank you. So, Marika, Lesotho, this happened. Pump for Peace.
It did indeed.
Tell us about that and what it's all about.
It's where we actually decided to kick the project off. And it's very good to have Jacob with us today because he actually came and joined us in the concert that we did in Lesotho. Yeah. It kicked off in April, on the 14th of April. We built a pump track and we use a concert to raise funds for music NGOs and for mountain biking charities.
Right. I mean, I must ask though, why Lesotho? It's so, I mean, for an inaugural event, it's often, that your bigger cities and all are the ones. So how come Lesotho?
Lesotho happened purely by chance. My partner in Pump for Peace is a Swiss guy, a very well-known downhill mountain bike racer called Claudio Cagliori. And he ended up doing a documentary with another friend of his. And through mutual friends, we found this beautiful space in Roma called the Roma Trading Post, which is where we set it up. And everything just fell into place.
Must have been so picturesque. With
it was absolutely. It's the mountain kingdom.
Yes. Jacob, tell us about Tidal Waves and how you then got to be a part of Pump for Peace. Tell us first about the band, and you didn't come with them. I'm so gutted.
All right, what I would say about the band, Tidal Waves has been a band that has been going on for more than 17 years around South Africa. But then Marika and Jessica, those are the people we met in the music scene. And then they booked us for the same gig, and it was nice for us to be in Lesotho, because Tidal Waves has never performed in Lesotho. We have done a lot of countries, even overseas, but Lesotho was one of the ones.
Small little mountain kingdom that you never went to.
So it was nice to be there, playing around the valleys of the mountains, there, the sound, the organization.
And what's your vibe like? What's Tidal Waves? I mean, what kind of music?
Reggae band, we do original music for original people, South African
like
reggae vibes,
Yeah.
So it's that kind of a vibe, and it's groovy, it's hypey.
Yes. It's happy music.
Fantastic.
Good music for good people.
For good people, So, Marika, you raised funds, and what basically are you hoping to do now that it's coming to Johannesburg? a whole lot more people, I'm sure, could attend. What are your aims? What are your goals for this Pump for Peace Festival?
Well, we're kicking off at Volvospruit Mountain Bike Park, which is just kind of off-Rigel, off-ramp. And we hope to do a series of events. So this will be the first one in South Africa, and we hope to follow up with Johannesburg and Cape Town and Durban quite soon in the next couple of months.
Right.
So basically what we've combined is sport for the day and a lot of good music for the day.
Yeah.
And then funds raised there we will use to build the pump track in a developing area in Pretoria.
So actually, take us through, what is a pump track?
Oh, gee, this is the one, you know, I'm not the sporty person here. This is when I wish I had Claudia.
Yeah.
A pump track is basically a system, well, it's a track that they build that's generally made of asphalt. It's kind of like a looping track where people from all ages can learn to ride mountain bikes.
Okay, and do the tricks and everything that we see in movies that it looks cool.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just decided it would be a good idea to finally combine sport and music, you know?
Well,
feed the body, feed the soul.
And there we go. I mean, anybody who trains, whether it's on a treadmill, whether it's just running on the road, whatever, there's always music involved actually in sports, you know what I mean? Okay, and so what other bands will be performing? Who else can people expect on the lineup? And also the event details, where can people get more info?
Well, definitely Tidal Wave, since I brought the man here with me today, and it's good to have them come through from Lesotho.
Yeah.
We have the Polytones, we have Karen Zoid, Desmond and the Tutus, Tidal Waves, The Sweet Resistance, and a band called Black Cat Bones. We've got an enduro ride in the morning, and Claudia Caliori will actually be coming out to ride.
How many hours is that?
We're kicking off at 8 a.m. with the enduro ride here, but I'm just going to watch them go down the hill while I set up the music. And then if you do a search for Pump for Peace, you'll find us. Our website's not quite live yet, but it should be live in the next couple of days. It's www.pumpforpeace.com. And tickets you can buy at web tickets.
Fantastic. So small beginnings, humble beginnings, but definitely on your way to something big, I think. Jacob, you are going to perform a little bit of something for us before the show ends. And just what is it that you hope that people for people who are coming for Pump for Peace will take away when they look at you and they, vibe with your music and your band?
I think the lineup is great, The lineup is great. I think Sister Karen, she's just another woman. Yep. The Polytones are nice. Black Cat Bones is crazy. Tidal Wave is crazy, Desmond.
So you listen to a whole lot of music, actually, not just reggae.
Yes, I think people who will be there will enjoy a lot, because from the first band it will be like wow.
Something for everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Jacob, Alana, and also Marika Zietsman.
Thank you so much for having us.
And that's Pump for Peace, the 12th of August. Get onto their website www.pumpforpeace.com. Cool. So a beautiful Italian opera titled La Boheme meets a South African cast this week at the Mandela Theatre, and the young singers are extremely talented and put on an amazing show. Take a look.
The Joburg Theatre comes to life this week with the opening of one of the most romantic operas in the world, La Boheme. Gauteng Opera brings to life this classic love story, which first premiered in 1896 at the Teatro Regio in Turin, Italy, and later premiered in the US. Since then, La Boheme has become part of the standard Italian opera repertoire and is one of the most frequently performed operas in the world. Now it comes to South African shores with our very own talents doing justice to the production in their opening performance.
I'm excited that it's my first opera, my first full opera. I'm very excited. I got through it. I did it, actually. So I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited.
Well, I'm still in the Act 4 mood. My emotions hasn't left me. My body doesn't know where I am now, so I'm still shaking a little bit. But I will cool down. I'll cool down as time goes by. Yeah.
This human opera revolves around 4 friends, especially 2 of them. Rodolfo, a poor poet who falls in love with Mimi, a neighbor in the building where they live, and Marcello, who has a stormy relationship with Musetta. The story is universal and ageless, with characters portrayed by surprisingly young singers.
My character is very flirty, very comfortable in her sexuality. She's a bit of a extra with the guys, yeah, but then she's got a very intense relationship with Marcello. So I feel like with that, it gives her a certain like break from the whole flirty, blah blah kind of thing. Because as the opera progresses, she becomes more and more sensitive, and she shows more of her human side, if I can put it like that.
South African opera has a growing cast of accomplished and dedicated stars. Over the last decade, the Black Tie Ensemble, an opera company formed with the intent of developing and nurturing classical singers for diverse cultures, has done much to popularize opera in the country, though it's an art that has a long journey to popularity.
The reason why theatre is struggling is because of what's going on in South Africa, politically and economically. And the first thing the government does, or everybody does, is to cut everything from the arts. Art is the first thing they cut. So that's the struggle that we have. And once we have a government that doesn't support the arts will suffer. So we are suffering because the government isn't supporting the arts enough. They surely give money, but I mean, it's not enough to make us sustainable, you know.
La Boheme will run from the 18th to the 23rd of July 2017.
So, here now in studio, I have a man who has made a name for himself as an author, book publisher, youth developer and speaker. Capella Kala, at only 26 years of age, has penned his second book and launched Next Level, a motivational book aimed at inspiring readers at exactly that, how to get their lives fueled to the next level. Welcome to Trendz.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Fantastic to have you here. So, you're 26.
Yes.
Tell us about the levels you've moved to and what inspired all of this, of course, for you to be sitting here with me with your book. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, to tell you a bit about where I came from, when I was at varsity, I used to give a lot of advice to friends and people that were around me, about the specific challenges that they were facing at the time. Predominantly would be academic challenges, type of thing. And then from there, I realized then that my passion really is to see people become better than they were yesterday. Yeah. And then later I started speaking. Right.
And was it speaking at varsity, high school?
Well, the speaking career started way back in high school, but where I did now the sort of work of inspiring people and introducing them to the better version of themselves, that predominantly started when I was at varsity. Right. Then I realized, so I did public speaking, I did inspirational speaking. Then I realized, but I can only reach so many people physically. Right. So the idea then came about, let me take all these things, put them in my Facebook, which was launched back in 2014, when I was 22, 23, yes. And now the first person I told I was writing a book then said to me, your book will never sell. But the book went on to sell over 5,000 copies.
Oh, wow. And that was self-published as well?
That was self-published as well.
Okay. And who was this person? And what are they saying now?
Well, I don't want to mention names, but I'm sure it must not, it must be, came as a surprise probably to them, yes. Right. But we did that. And then I realized, so I've done that, sold, and then we got a lot of feedback, right? Where people pointed out a few areas of improvement and so on. And I also picked up a few. Yeah. And then I knew that the next book that I wanted to write had to be better than the first one.
Of course.
Right. Now when I was
took it to the next level.
Yes. Now when I was thinking about that to say, but how do I get it to another level? And I realized that it's not only me that wants to go to the next level in my life, right? Everyone else wants to go to the next level. They want to achieve more, do more, and be more, right? So then the concept then came about. But then also as I did the research, I realized that not everyone moves to the next level, right? But everyone wants to do that.
Yeah. Now so what are the tricks then? What are the tools?
The question became, obviously, why is it that some do and some don't? And I realized that those that move levels, there's specific principles that they apply, right? And that I've applied as well in achieving the few milestones that I've achieved. Right. And if you take all these principles and whether in every area of your life, if you do that, then you'll be able to achieve what you set out to achieve.
Okay, so practically though, because you're saying a lot, so let's make it tangible now.
Sure.
You say any area, basically you can take the tools that you've discovered and apply them and move to the next level of your life.
Yes.
So let's do the top 3, tools. and take us through those in terms of how do we then apply them? Because it's one thing to have a book, awesome, it's there, it's in black and white, but how do I apply it? And does your book take people through that? You know, sometimes you have motivational books that have a few exercises, that have a few, a CD maybe to listen to. Like, what are the tools that you've used in yours?
So what we've done is we've taken these principles and arranged them properly so that you can follow them each. Now, the first chapter in the book is called do you know what your next level is? Because a lot of people want to move to the next level, but they don't know what their next level is. So the first thing is to understand where you are right now and what is it that you're doing, and are you doing well in the specific area that you are in right now, in the current level. Then decide then what your next level is and answer the question, why do you want to move to the next level? Why do you want to move to where you want to move to? When you've answered that, then you move to the how part, right? And then the second chapter, we talk a lot about learning, right? And we say, if you are to move levels, you need to start to learn, because you are where you are right now because of what you have learned prior. So in order for you to move further, you need to learn how to move to the next level, what's required of you. And we also talk about time as well. It's an area that I'm very passionate about. And we say, in order for you to move levels, you need to understand time, because the implication is if you don't understand what time it is, then you don't know what to do.
Right.
But if you understand the season that you are in right now, that tells you what is it that you're supposed to do right now. And that basically we say invest time, right? Use it productively and be conscious of what is it that you're doing with each minute that you have every single day.
Yeah. We all have 24 hours, but some people, you know, use it better than others.
Than others, yes. So basically we say time is a commodity in which you use to buy valuables, right? Now we say use it to do the things that move you to the next level. And make sure that, now another concept that we share as well is success is a choice, right? Which was taken now from the title of my first book. And we say, what you are right now is the result of the choices that you made yesterday, and who you'll become tomorrow is the result of the choices that you're making today.
Okay, but then again, you have circumstance. Because some people have all the choices and all the right, you know, things in place to be as successful as they need to be. But for somebody who doesn't have the resources, the support, you know, how do you then not look at their circumstances also playing a part in where they are right now?
People that are around you, very, very important. I make a statement in the book and I say, in order for you to achieve all your goals and dreams, you need to start by befriending those that are in the future you want. Now, these are people that have done well in the area that you're interested in. These are the people that should be able, that have walked the same path. These are people that should offer you some kind of mentorship and practical hands-on experience, like you're talking to. How do you get to where they are, right? And
always important. Mentorship.
Always important.
Are you a mentor for anyone?
Yes, I am a mentor as well. Yes, of a lot of authors that we publish. Yes.
A lot of information, it seems, has gone into that book. Where can people get it?
The book is available at all Protea bookstores across Gauteng. And everywhere else in the country. You now simply send an email to tlf4leaders@outlook.com, and we have a distribution house that will be able to get the book to you wherever you are in the country.
Fantastic. And this is all your baby.
Yes, this is now done by our company through Greatness Seminars. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, keep on doing what you're doing and motivating young people to get them to their next level, you know, and inspiring them. And what you say about mentorship, very, very true. Thank you for coming to Trendz, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. All right, and now before we go to break, I did mention that Jacob would be performing for us. He will be at Pump for Peace on the 12th of August. This is Jacob Alana of Tidal Waves. Hey, you're welcome. Well, you're back. We are, in studio still. We had Jacob performing for us some real music for some real people, making us feel irate. Now, Joburg Ballet has joined forces with two other leading South African dance companies, the Boheme Dance Theatre and Moving into Dance Mapadong, to come up with a new production called Big City, Big Dreams. Now, the production will have its first world premiere next week and will run 8 performances. So it is an infusion of styles from classical ballet to contemporary and street dance. And to tell us more about this, before we have a performance, I have choreographer Shannon Glover to tell us more. Shannon, welcome to studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. And we were just talking before this, saying, as someone who has been and is a principal dancer, and you are now on the other side of the game, so tell us how it's been. Take us through the challenges and just what's exciting about Big City, Big Dreams.
Well, that's an interesting statement, because I can tell you, being on the other side is been a growing experience. You know, I've always been the one on opening night on the stage and only having to deal with one thing, having a great performance and just dancing.
Well, and hoping that your male lead doesn't drop you.
No, exactly, but they never do. But now being on the other side, it's just been a wonderful growing experience. You know, joining forces with these other two companies have just created a new, energetic, dynamic performance that we're going to have on Friday. And I think coming together has just given us a new appreciation for all these different dance styles and collaborating. So bringing the city of Johannesburg onto our stage is just going to be incredible.
Sure. And take us through, I mean, the premises, or the premise that, you know, the production is based on, the storyline and how it unfolds. It's a story that is translatable, whether it's film, whether it's song. People talk about, you know, big city, big dreams, coming to Johannesburg, making it. So how then do you, as, you know, a dance group, then translate that through dance and all these amazing musical styles of dance?
You know, what we've done is we've taken this amazing, great, energetic, dynamic city that we live in, Johannesburg, and we've just taken it to the stage. You know, everyone can relate to this fast-paced corporate world, and people in the artistic side of their style and their passion, and bringing those two worlds together. So it's not something we don't know. However, it's never been done before. So what I can tell you is that when you come and watch the production, you'll be able to relate. You'll be able to relate being someone who walks on the streets of Johannesburg, and what you see when you come and watch the production, you'll be able to relate.
Sure.
And what I find truly inspiring is that we don't really live in the present moment in Johannesburg. We live in this fast pace, always trying to get to the next level, move up that corporate ladder. And this story is basically telling that. Actually saying this amazing corporate world, and we all want to meet our expectations, and the stressful reality about it. And then the dance world, where you're always waiting for your next big break, you know, the blood, sweat and tears that go into it, and how those two worlds can move on the same path, and how they can actually be one world.
Fantastic.
And Johannesburg has so much to offer.
Yeah. No, it does.
This production is going to just basically lay it out for us.
And working with Fiona Ramsey?
Oh, well, Fiona Ramsey and I go way back, and she's a dear friend of mine, and an absolute inspiring person to work with.
So has she maybe, you know, on the side been saying, Shannon, think about this, let's do more, to come out, you know, from, you know, the stage, and let's go behind the scenes, let's put together, you know, something that's ours, you know?
You know, she's got a great eye. And she's selected a team that are very creative and are literally at the top of their game. So she's done a remarkable job at putting this together. And everyone knows Fiona Ramsey. She's just this incredible woman, and she's had so many years in this industry. So I can tell you that if you come and watch this production, you won't be let down.
I should. I definitely have to. And then working with, how big is the cast?
Well, the cast is huge. So we have 5 dancers from the other two companies, and we have about 10 to 15 of our dancers on stage. A lot of different groups on stage at different times. But you know,
and is it a case of, I mean, moving into dance, do they do a specific kind of dance versus the Boheme Theatre and Joburg Ballet, and then it's all like a fusion of everything?
Well, a little bit not. So basically what we wanted to do is collaborate fully. So not have just ballet and then just like street dance and then just contemporary. We really wanted to have a fusion of all of them together. So you have our dancers doing different styles, their dancers doing different styles, and bring it on, you know, all together on the same piece. And that's what we want to do. We want to say, you know, ballet is not the only art form, and contemporary is not the only art, and so on. And it's brought a different energy. And it's really helped the creative process for the choreographers, because this excitement of trying new things and letting loose and see what happens.
So somebody trained in classical ballet and having gone through all the years that you've done, can you break it down on a Pantsola stage?
Oh, well, I have been doing
that. I would
I have been doing it in the studio. Sometimes I get up and join the dances because it looks like so much fun. And I think as an audience member, if you can be sitting and watching the performance and really enjoying it, and you want to get up and dance, well, then I think we've done our job.
That's fantastic, though, because, so, I mean, obviously classical and other forms of dance, they're not as loose, if I could say, compared to like your Pantsola and the others.
And
so
exactly. And we're bringing different audiences to one theatre.
To one theatre. Your highlights, what do you take away from this, and what next? What do people take away as well after watching Big City, Big Dreams?
I think when you leave the theatre, you're going to be inspired. You're going to have a different outlook in the city we live in. This amazing city and what we have to offer, and all the different levels. And then through dance, I think different audiences will come together, and they might come and watch a ballet production next time, and the ballet audience might go watch a contemporary production next time. I think it's really just opening and creating that bridge, and knocking down those barriers.
Fantastic.
So I think ultimately you're going to walk out of the theatre with a completely new vision
and perspective on dance, and actually where dance should be and where it should go in the South African space. Thank you, Shannon, for all you do for dance and the industry in South Africa, and also pass on our regards to Fiona Ramsey as well.
Thank you, and I hope to see you there.
And it ends when?
It ends on the 6th of August.
6th of August.
And what I would like to also note is that what we're really trying to do is hit the youth of Joburg. So we're offering these free tickets to anyone with a valid student card.
I saw that, 2 tickets on the day. They must just go to the ticket office and show their student card. They can get in for free. Oh my gosh.
So bring a friend.
That's lovely. Thank you so very much. That's Shannon Glover, choreographer of Big City, Big Dreams. I'm going to ask her now if she's related to Danny Glover. She might tell me off air. Now, an award-winning musical titled Marikana by Aubrey Sekabi is currently on at the State Theatre in Pretoria. Now, the musical is based on the true events that took place in Marikana 5 years ago, and it gives faces and names to the fallen brothers, sons, fathers and uncles who lost their lives. The play also captures the daily experiences of generations of mining families, and it stars the amazing Meshach Mavuso and the incomparable thespian Aubrey Boheme.
I'm trying to do my job. Now you talk to your people, tell them not to jump the penalty, and then I'll come with it.
A sad trip down memory lane. It's scenes like this that shocked the world 5 years ago and put the struggles of Lonmin mine workers in Marikana on the spotlight. This play takes the audience through personal struggles of the miners. In August 2012, they took to the copy in Marikana to demand better wages. But 6 days into the strike, events took a dramatic turn. Clashes with police left several miners injured and 44 others dead.
Well, Marikana is a blow-by-blow account of what happened on the 16th of August, but actually it starts from before the 16th when the massacre occurred. So it's a story of the people of Marikana that were mauled down by the police. It's really reflecting on our past, on our history, and saying, because this is living history, and saying to our people, are we tolerant? Are we a tolerant society? Can we sit and talk instead of shooting each other and killing each other like that? It came out from Mr. Lucas Ledwaba, who called me and said they've written a book, we are going to kill each other today, and asked me if I could adapt it into a musical play. And when I read the book until I finished it, and I said, yes, I want to do this. But for me, it was important that we capture the rhythm and the mood of our times, so that many years to come, 20 years to come, when young people look back, they can know where we come from.
Meshach Mavuso and Aubrey Boheme are leading actors of this production alongside 30 other cast members. Mavuso plays the role of Mr. Green, while Sia plays the role of one of the mourners.
I play a mine leader, not even a union leader, but a mine leader, because I remember very well they were tired of representation, so they decided they're going to represent themselves. So they had to choose people that will represent and talk Pambil, and Omambush was one of them. And yeah, it was a very, that's when I realized and ngabona ukuthi ukuba inkokheli akufundelwa. Ngaba inkokheli ungayanga esikolweni kodwa ukwazi bakhokhela abantu babeke bame bakulalele ubeke lento ofuna ukuyikhuluma. So it's a very important role that I'm playing of the late Mambush.
My role is I'm playing the Police Commissioner of the Northwest as well as one of the mourners who was in Kita. It's very emotional, especially considering that she is a real woman whose husband was lost 4 days after the birth of her baby. So it gets very, very emotional for me. It's a very emotional story to tell when you think of the pain that someone else had to go through. But of course, you are grateful to be able to tell her story to the world.
Even though the play is emotional and stern, it also has a witty side. Marikana the musical dominated the Naledi Theatre Awards in 2014 with about 18 nominations and scooped 9. The play will be on at the State Theatre until the 12th of August.
Oh, well, that looks like definitely one to see. That's Marikana the musical, which won an unprecedented number of awards at the Naledi Theatre Awards just a few years ago. And now we are going to an ad break, but we do have in studio a performance from the interview I just did with Shannon, talking Big City, Big Dreams. It's on at the Joburg Ballet, and yeah, they have a performance for us. Thank you so very much. Take it away. Welcome back to Trends. And yeah, before the break, that was a performance from two of the people who are part of Big City, Big Dreams. It's happening at the Joburg Theatre from the 28th of July until the 6th of August. Now, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival is not only about music, it's also about giving back to the community. Now, the festival started a project called Geleza Clever and Learn 3 years ago with the intention to educate emerging artists about the music industry and how it works, and also assist them in gaining a foothold in the business. Now, these free, yeah, I did say free, music business workshops took place this month in 3 venues in Johannesburg, and I'm joined by the esteemed Mr. Sipho Dlamini, who never does interviews, is always behind the scenes, as well as Luyanda Bangla and Lerato. And both of these guys are part and have been a part of the workshops that are aimed at teaching you the ins and outs of the music business. Who better to learn from? Welcome to Trends, guys.
Thank you very much.
Lerato, let me start with you. You're a musician.
Yes.
And so Joy of Jazz being, you know, the amazing, amazing festival that it's been, how did you then say, or call them up or look them up and say, I've heard about this and I want to be a part of this?
Well, this was actually on the social media. This was on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was on Instagram and
Yeah.
Twitter. So that's how I found out about it.
The power of social media for the youth.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's how I found out about it.
Yeah.
And then I inquired further. I called a few people that advertised it on their social pages, and that's how I got to know about it and go to the workshop myself. Yes.
And take us through some of the paces they put you through, specifically, you know, geared towards getting you as an artist who's trying to, you know, break out into the industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's 3 sessions that they have. There are 4 breakout groups that they did. One was for events management, and one was for live performances, and there was one for writing music. I just can't remember. I think it was much more on the technical part of music.
Yeah.
That's why they take you through all of those sessions. Yeah. But you can't go through all of them at once on one workshop. So you have to maybe attend all the workshops so that you get each one of them.
And
but
take something away.
Yes, but each of them, you can get each of them from the speakers that come before the breakouts, the breakout sessions.
But Sipho, thank you so much for coming through.
No, thank you for having me.
For people who don't know, the man behind this amazing, amazing Joy of Jazz Festival, take us through, you know, Geleza Clever and learn. Because one thing, people are always there to impart knowledge, but are they then implementing it and practicing it so that they become great musicians?
True. I think before we used to call it the industry workshops.
Okay.
And then we used to work with the Department of Education. Then we'll take the students for 2 days in a venue, and then they'll all be workshopped, and then they'll have songs and whatever. But now after that, when we moved to Senton Convention Center, we then decided to do Geleza Clever and Learn in partnership with the city of Joburg and also the province.
Absolutely
so
fantastic.
This was just now to get into the districts and get into the venues that we've never been tapped before.
Yeah.
So
because there's many musicians all over the country. And fantastic that you've done it. And these workshops are free.
They're free.
Amazing. Luyanda, you also got, you know, into this world of music and showbiz, and you fell upon Geleza Clever. Take us through what it is that, you know, you're about. Are you also trying to then, you know, be a frontman or a producer? What's your thing?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. I found out from a friend, actually, you know, told me about it. He's like, yo, man, there's a workshop happening, and I think you might be interested in it. He knew that I'm into the whole technical side, you know, behind the scenes type of field. So I took the chance. I was like, okay, why not? I don't have anything better coming up. Let me just rather go. So we went to those workshops, as Lerato has mentioned, that there were 4. They divided it into 4 groups.
Yeah.
So I heard on
and ultimately, if I can just, you know, summarize very quickly, though, what are you doing now to get to wherever it is that you need to go in your business?
Well, I am currently doing an internship at a company called Gear House. What they do is they provide technical equipment and technical services for events, you know, such as there's countless events.
Yeah.
Countless events. You can name
but
them.
But music
yeah.
and the business of music is your thing.
Is my thing. Man.
That's fantastic. But Siva, young people coming here because, of course, you know, looking at the legends that we have, we're celebrating a life like Ray Phiri's, you know, other people who have come before us. But it's amazing to see young talent who are passionate about learning, because you also have to make it a business and own it, other than having people tell you what to do. So, guys, big up to you. You know, fantastic that you're doing this. And when is the Joy of Jazz?
It's on the 28th and 29th and the 30th of September.
It's still so far.
Still so far.
But it's soon. Thank you so very much for joining us, guys, and all the best to you. We're going to hear from you a little bit later.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, so the live series, it's a comedy show jam-packed with loads of humor that'll have you in stitches, and it's back. And this time, new and old faces of comedy will share the stage when the next shows kick off next month. Our producer, Nadia Adams-Parton, attended the show preview this past week. Take a look.
A shark cage diving instructor. Did you ever see a black bra that's a shark cage diving instructor? This bra is a shark cage diving instructor. He based me, Joey, you have to come for a shark cage dive. That's how he speaks. Wah, rah, rah, rah. I say, nah, I'm on a be posh, mos. I say, what does that entail? He makes me know they take you out on a catamaran. I say, what is that? He say it's a boat. I say, so say it's a boat.
Some of South Africa's funny guys are back with a brand new show. The live series featuring one-man shows from Joey Rasdeen and Jason Goliath. This week, Trendz had a sneak peek of what's to follow come August 2017. It's a first for Goliath, venturing out on his own. He says 6 years into the game, he's ready to take on the audience.
6 years in, the first thing that I learned is firstly, let money be the byproduct of the thing that I do, and therefore comedy has kind of become my life. So we run a business, Goliath and Goliath. I, in my personal capacity, am a comedian, obviously, and this show, I think, is very, very true to who I am as a person, but also true to who I've become as a comedian. And I think that a lot of comics kind of take a while to find their voice, and that's why I didn't do a one-man show kind of 3 years in, which a lot of comics do, particularly in South Africa, because the pool is so small. I was always waiting to be confident that this is my voice, and it's a very difficult thing. It sounds simple to, you know, as a comedian, you're just going to understand what your brand is. But there's a very big difference between getting on stage and saying funny things and getting on stage and saying funny things in your voice.
Produced by award-winning production company Mannequin Pictures, the live series will be filmed in front of a live audience with its television debut later this year. Rasdeen is a veteran in the industry. He's had a dozen stand-up shows, he's an actor who's featured on various television shows, and he's made himself a name in the industry of telling jokes. Now Rasdeen will also feature in the live series, which he says is an amazing addition to his body of work.
When I started, there wasn't much thought that went into it. It was just me going up on stage speaking lots of nonsense. Now it's me going up on stage speaking lots of nonsense with a goal. And the goal is always, most recently in the past 3 or 4 years, 3 years maybe, what the audience can take away from what I just said on stage. Laughing as well, obviously. Yeah, so before that it wasn't a conscious thing. It was just me going. Sometimes, like tonight even, I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. And that's changed over the years because I started out like that. I didn't really know what I'm going to say. I just had some premises that I'm going to speak about and then went on, and then half of it was freestyle, half of it was planned, and the older you get, because you have lots of material and lots of things, you plan it a bit better, and I think that's what's happening that's what happened in the past 2 years.
Die-hard comedy fans can get their dose of laughter before the television debut at the Gold Reef City Lyric Theatre with Joey Rasdeen on August 4th and 5th, and with Jason Goliath on the 18th and 19th of August.
That looks very, very interesting indeed. And so we have come to the end of another episode of Trendz here at the SABC studios. It's been awesome. We, looked at the life of Ray Phiri. May his soul rest in peace and power and just musical amazingness as he was. We have a performance right now by Lerato. She was here. She is also attending the Joy of Jazz, the 20th Joy of Jazz happening this September. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, so take it away, Lerato Freak.
Sorry, that mic is off if she died.
1, 2, yes. Oh.
Stand by. 9. And that's how we come to the end of this week's episode of Trends here at the SABC. Do join us again next week for more stories and voices of showbiz and entertainment from South Africa and beyond. We're playing out with a singer-songwriter who advocates for love and peace through her music. Lerato, aka Freak Rainey, is the name, and she is going to perform her song Don't Lie. She'll also be at the Joy of Jazz. It's happening in September. Bye.
She next, please fire. Good evening, beggars, and all that sorry crap that you've been giving me. Saying it's real, boy, I want more, think I can't get more. Not that you would know, not that you didn't care, not that I still care, just trying to be polite. So get out my way if you won't act right, 'cause I'm about done. Get out my way if you won't act right, 'cause I'm about done. Just don't lie. Say what you need to say, say what you need to say, say what you need, just don't lie. Say what you need to say, say what you need to say, say what you need to say. Oh, say what you need to say, say what you need to say, say what you need, just don't lie. Say what you need to say, say what you need to say, say what you need, just don't lie. Say what you need, say what you need, say what you need, just don't lie. Say what you need to say, say what you mean to say, say what you need, just don't lie. Say what you need to say, say, hey, hey. Whatever gave you the impression that I need you to protect me from the truth. Boy, it's not you. So please stop with all this nonsense. We both know that it ain't good. It just makes me wanna leave your sorry behind. We ain't doing nobody no favors, being all miserable and hurting one another in the name of this thing called life. Get out my way if you won't act right, 'cause I'm about done. Get out my way if you won't act right, 'cause I'm about done. Say what you mean by